Hey, it's Matt Sherwood, and I got to tell you a quick story. So we went to Yosemite last weekend, Jay Muniz and I, and we left Oakland around noon on Saturday. I was a little bummed because I wanted to get out on the road earlier, but well, we had some stuff to do, and anyway, yeah, we got on the road about 12, and it's gonna take about 4 to 4.5 hours to get there. And we only had 2 days in the park, so I was a little bit kind of bummed, but you know, we're making our way over there, and we knew it was going to be busy. It's like peak season, the waterfalls are flowing, so all the lodges were booked in the villages in Yosemite. The nearest hotel we could get was about an hour and 20 minutes outside of Yosemite in Mariposa. All right, fine. We're still going to go to the parks and have a great time. So as we approach Yosemite, we're about an hour out, and we see signs that say, Yosemite Village parking lot full, expect 3-hour delays. 3-hour delays. Okay, well, we're a bit bummed, even more bummed, but we figure if we get there, we're gonna get there around 5, and you know, maybe the parking lots will have opened up, and maybe some people will have left. And we kept going. So we get into the gate, and sure enough, they say, yeah, the 3-hour delay is probably, it's probably not that bad now, and you should be able to to get a spot. So we keep going. We finally get there. There is a lot of traffic. We get there around, maybe 6, and Yosemite Valley is beautiful. Jay and I have never been there. Jay is not really an outdoorsman, so it's kind of funny to see him, his reaction when I told him we wanted to maybe go camping, and he, like, his whole face kind of like twitched a little bit, and he's like completely afraid of bears. Anyway, so we get to Yosemite, and it was awesome. We were walking around the valley, and there's a deer that walks up close to us, and Jay is like blown away because he's never seen anything like that. And we had a good time. We were taking photographs, and I was taking a photograph in this one little area where the water had flooded, and there was a reflection, and these two guys walk by us, and they say, "Oh, are you guys, that's a great picture spot. Are you guys going to stay for the moonbow?" And we say, What's a moonbow? And, he said, well, that's when the moon is at a certain spot and the sun is at a certain spot, and it's a bright moon, like a full moon. You can see, not with the naked eye, but with your camera and a long exposure, you can see a rainbow that appears in the mist of a waterfall at night. And it only happens, a few times a year, and this just so happens to be the day that it's going on. 11:30 p.m. for about an hour, you'll be able to see the moonbow. So Jay and I decide, this is crazy. I mean, hey, we're here, we might as well do it. So let's gear up for a 3 or 4 hour wait so that we can wait and take photographs of the moonbow. So we had most supplies, but we were a little light on snacks. So I dropped Jay at the visitor center to pick up more snacks. And I said, all right, let's meet where we saw the deer, right by that bridge. And, just come back and meet me. I'm going to set up my camera. So I leave Jay, and I go set up the camera, and I'm talking. There's already fellow photographers that are setting up, getting ready. And, I set up, and I'm eating some snacks, and I realize, well, I probably should put the snacks away. I don't want to welcome any bears or anything. And I walk to my car, and I realize at this point, like, the sun has gone down, and it is pitch black. Pitch black. And when I dropped Jay off, his phone was almost dead. And I realized it's probably going to be a bit tricky for Jay to find his way to where our meeting spot. And so I got a bit worried, and I got in my car, and I drove to the visitor center, just, looking around for someone walking along the way. And it is pitch black, and it's confusing. And it was confusing for me in a car with lights, and I realized without lights, Jay not being an outdoorsman, and us, meeting at a different spot than where I dropped him and everything, I realized this could be problematic. So I go back to where my camera was and the setup was, and no Jay, no sign of Jay, and I start to kind of panic a little bit, and I pack up my stuff, and I get in the car, and I'm just doing loops around. And, the Yosemite Valley is a loop. And I'm going back to the visitor center. I'm asking people, have you seen a Puerto Rican guy named Jay? And I go back to my meet where we were supposed to meet, and I'm letting them know, hey, I'm looking for my friend. And, I'm trying not to panic. But, time is ticking, and it's been an hour and a half. 2 hours, and I realized he's lost. He's lost. There's no two ways about it. You know, I was checking in various lodges. I was looking around for, you know, any sign of him. And by the way, no cell service in Yosemite. No cell service. Jay got a little bit of service. Me, none. So I keep looping around. I'm talking to rangers, and you know, most people say, "Oh, go back to the spot where you were supposed to meet." All right, fair enough. Even though, you know, there's people there that know I'm waiting for him, and I just get this sense that he's not even near there. So I keep going around and around, and at this point, I'm thinking, you know, we both know what the hotel is. Maybe he hitchhiked back to the hotel as a last resort. That's, I think, what he would probably do. This was crazy. I mean, my adrenaline was pumping, and I made one loop around, and even the Wi-Fi, they can't give me a password, and I can't get on Wi-Fi to see if he's texted me. So finally, I make the decision. I'm going to go back to Mariposa and go to the hotel. He probably ended up at the hotel. But I did one more loop around, and I stopped at the meeting spot, and I see the photographers, and it's 11:20 at this point, and the moonbow is supposed to start at 11:30. So I asked them, I said, "Hey, has the moonbow started yet?" And there's a guy sitting in the dark, sitting there, and he goes, Matt Sherwood?" And sure enough, it was Jay. He found his way back, and we looked at each other, and it was the most incredible sense of relief. I was panicked, I'm not gonna lie. This was crazy. I wasn't worried he was gonna get caught in the woods and die, although it was supposed to be in the 30s that night. But and I knew he had snacks and supplies, but I just thought, I just worried about when am I gonna get in touch with him, you know. But there was a lot of people around, and I had a feeling he would have, you know, talked to some people and hung out with some people and got to a safe place. But crazy thing was, we met up just in time for the moonbow and ended up getting some incredible photos. We barely slept that night because our adrenaline was pumping so much, and it was such a crazy experience. But Jay got lost in Yosemite, and eventually we found him. So crazy story for day number 1 in Yosemite.